Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back for another session of.
Hello, hello, hello. How's it going, Perez?
Gotta do this. Gotta do this. The last time we covered, I actually have some notes here, but we covered a bunch of stuff. We went through Phoenix. We went through Joe Katz, Nick Szabo's. We went through smart contracts, internet, TV, Satoshi Nakamoto. We pinned it to Judy Sheldon, and we wanted to continue, but I think Dad wants to take it on another road, and I find it to be pretty interesting. So, Dad, go ahead and explain to them what it is that you want to do with this, because you're the mastermind in this. Oh, and BitGold. Boom.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it's going to lead right back into with tonight. I after we were talking about Nick Szabo, I started thinking about that, and then I woke up this morning and I did a little quick research, since last night was just a spontaneous combustion. All right, off of this page back to, it all came back down to the Phoenix.
It was really good though. Like,
oh, it was fun. It was absolutely, it was amazing. It was a great time.
Okay. And we got a really good reaction from the crowd as well. That's why we decided to kind of make it to where we see how good we get with it. And then maybe later on we can come up with other topics. You guys can come up with other topics, or we can have one of you guys on the show. Maybe one of you guys can call in and maybe have a question for us after we do a session. So we'll cover an article, or we'll cover some sort of a topic you guys want to cover, and then you call in and you ask a question, and then we'll come up with the best answer, the best possible answer. If we can't answer you on the spot, we'll go to the next caller. And Dad, this is just an idea, guys. I just want to know what you guys think. But go ahead, Dad. Take over.
Okay. If we're going back to a quick throwback, you just mentioned it again, back to Nick Szabo. The thing that stuck in my head is when we came up to the Bitcoin speculation and BitGold. I started thinking, and we kept digging. You brought up about the BitGold, and it came back to 1998. We came back to 1988. It kept coming back to 1989. And I started thinking, I should have probably pulled it up. Actually, let me do it just for fun really quick. I'm going to pull back up Satoshi Nakamoto, just because I found, going back to the dates, that was very interesting. Satoshi Nakamoto, allegedly, let's see if I can get this to, give me a second. Let me move one of these little, there we go. Okay, here it was. That's what I was looking for. Satoshi Nakamoto, April 5th, 1975. At the time of 1988, even 89-ish, but let's say 1988, the time the Phoenix became popular, the new world currency, et cetera, et cetera. I started thinking, he was born in 1975. A major thing, April 5th, was the Tiananmen incident.
Which remember that I told you, let's find out what year he was born and what was going on within that area. The last video, you remember I told you that, but we never.
Absolutely.
And
these are my thoughts going off of what you said. Okay. It kind of like was ringing in my head. The Tiananmen incident actually happened April 5th, 1976, but the buildup had actually began prior. So not necessarily dwelling on that. That's not my point, but it was the same date, which was the same, like the time and area. Even though the protest was in 76, obviously it began the previous year. So coming back to that, I started thinking Nick Szabo, we had Bitcoin, we had BitGold, and going back into, where was it at again? Satoshi Nakamoto, April 5th, 1975. And then what happened back then, which I found, it just keeps bouncing back and forth. It's like this crazy infinite loop. Okay, Satoshi Nakamoto, born 1975. At the time, 1988, he would be 13. Coming back to the BitGold. Okay, now to me, this was very, very interesting.
And I knew you were going to resort back to that BitGold, man.
But it kept going, which was really exciting.
Honestly, honestly, when I first heard that, I was in shock, to be honest. I was like, man, okay. And then Bitgold, and I was like, no way. And he's gonna deny that? Like, come on, bro. Like, everybody knows you invented Bitgold. You got the Bitcoin. Come on.
All right, now here's where, to me, I think it got very exciting. The Nick Szabo, you come back, you have the Bitcoin. And what was the reasoning for the Bitcoin? I didn't pull it up off the top of my head, but I have my notes.
What was the reasoning behind it?
The whole, at least the public reasoning behind it was, 2008, 2009 was the economic crash, the last major incident that we had.
Correct.
So that kind of brought this to life. Well, obviously, this had been created before, but it brought it to life. Was like that economic crisis.
The recession. Okay.
Exactly. So I started thinking about that.
Wait. So we have the recession, and we have but that was in 2008. That recession happened.
Yes, and then Bitcoin came out in 2009 as a result from that 2008 thing, kind of like the Tiananmen 1975, and then the result in the same exact date for 1976. Okay, going back, I just wanted to pull up a cool article. Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday coincides with the law of confiscation of gold. You have Bitcoin, BitGold, because of an economic crisis. But again, if you go back to the event where, even then in the U.S., where the gold had been basically banned.
Stop. Go. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I just
No, go right ahead. Dive right in anytime.
So scroll down. Scroll down. No, you're scrolling. I'm sorry, scroll up. Oh, forgive me. So April 5th, 2018, a date that the Bitcoin enthusiasts will remember is Nakamoto's birthday. So that's a similarity, right?
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
But
I just want to make sure that I saw what I saw.
No, that's okay. Right here, the result of his birth date, April 5th, 1975, a date that mashes together two important points in history. On April 5th, 1933, is when Franklin D. Roosevelt issued an executive order making it illegal to own gold in the country. That's referring to the United States. That's when people who owned gold had to turn in their gold. They had to hand over their gold. Because, again, he made it illegal to hold the gold. But again, the same date in 1975 is when they gained their rights back on April 5th, 1975. So that's the year and the date that Satoshi Nakamoto was born, which comes back to the birth of Satoshi Nakamoto. The same date that gold was permitted back into the U.S. was his birthday, April 5th, 1975.
What? That's insane.
Now you come back to Nick Szabo, and he created the BitGold. So if gold came out and it was all part of this whole thing, Satoshi Nakamoto's date is the exact date that the U.S. brought gold back into the country.
You got a lot of information, bro. You got to let me write it down, because
I'm sorry. I got excited on this.
I'm like, go back. Like, no, come on, bro. I need to break.
Sorry about that, man. I got excited, and I figured this is something I want to surprise you with today.
I'm there, like my brain stops. Like, it's kind of like you get to a certain part of the article, and as soon as I hear something like ling, 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 it's like it just stops there, and then you just see you like rolling by. Like, gotta tell you,
backing up. Beep, beep, beep.
Exactly. So on 1975, April 5th was when America was able to hold gold again. Like they implemented the law.
And this article is actually pretty cool. They even state in there, it's likely April 5th, 1975 isn't the day Satoshi Nakamoto was born, but it appears as if the creator of Bitcoin is further cementing his intentions with cryptocurrency by choosing such a...
Now, so can you repeat that one more time? You were talking about 1975, April 5th. That's when Nakamoto was born, but that's when America got the law of being able to hold gold again after it being illegal since 1933, correct?
Exactly.
Cool.
So April 5th, 1975, which is the exact date they gave for this Satoshi Nakamoto to be the birth date that they chose. April 5th, 1975. You have Nick Szabo, who created like the speculatively
insane though.
Bitcoin, BitGold.
How did you even like revert back to that? Did you like check the history, or it was just, like, you went to BitGold and then that's when they explained? I don't know. How did you get there?
It gets kind of tricky how I learned to research.
No.
I would have to tell you my history to give you my mind's perspective.
Bro. Y'all know you're a star. But it's just like, what went through your head? Like you just went back to BitGold, like where we left off? Because we didn't leave off there. We left off in with Garlinghouse. But I know that it was
exactly
to find out more about BitGold because that's the beginning. So I understand that. So what was going through your head? Oh, I'm gonna go back to BitGold. And how did you get to this article?
Honestly, BitGold wasn't even the direction I went. I went back into the date and the history. Then I went to the location. Japan Satoshi Nakamoto. Then I did like the. Let's see. Let me not say it right. Give me 1 second. Let me go back here. Yeah. Okay. Japan. That's where he was supposed to be born. But then the thing that kept popping up was the huge Tiananmen incident. Mm-hmm. Even though I know it was, what's the word I'm looking for? Like instigated, obviously the year before. Publicity always happens like the year after. It was the same date. And that kept popping up. And I was like, you know what? That's not what I'm looking for. So then I did like a global of the date. And that's when I came up with the thing with gold. And then once I came up with the actual date for gold being the 1933, April 5th was when it was banned from President Franklin D. Roosevelt, which was actually, I don't know if people know the history, he was the only U.S. president in history elected to a fourth term. And then it was shortly after that because of the Great Recession that was caused and extended because of his choices, we'll say choices, that they actually made it a rule that a U.S. president could no longer hold more than 2 terms.
Well, I mean, I don't think it was based off of, I think it was just a hard lesson learned because remember, you had World War I, right?
Yeah.
What year was World War I? And I don't mean to get too much into that in that type of history, but I think it had to do with World War I and not being able to sustain the economy based off of gold when it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. You weren't able to double it or triple it or print it, So
the World War I was July 28th, 1914 to November 11, 1918.
Okay, we'll just write that down just to make sure, because that's one of the major events as well. When it comes to this, because 1933, so you had that prior to this, so it leads up to it.
And then kind of what brought that up was the gold popped up from the U.S. So then I started thinking the April 5th, 1975 is when they allowed the gold to come back. If you're coming out of my mind started thinking this, okay, we're coming out of the Great Depression, the recession, the gold ban. But when the gold came back, that is when the economy was sort of booming, gave them like a life of like a financial hope and freedom, so to speak. And then I started thinking, okay, what was the next closest thing historically connected to that? Was 2008. And then Bitcoin was born in 2009. So you had Satoshi Nakamoto, in quote, born April 5th, 1975, when gold was coming back in to help solve the financial crisis. And I started thinking, okay, Bitcoin came in 2009. It helped solve the financial crisis of 2008. So then I started going back. I'm like, okay, well, if Nick Szabo is the one.
It was an idea to help solve, but it hadn't solved anything yet.
No, just the idea.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We're on the same page with that. But again, I'm just explaining how my mind brought us to this point. So then I started thinking about what you said about Nick Szabo, and then how he was the one, like credited or blamed, whichever side you want to choose on that, for creating Bitcoin. You had the Bitcoin speculation. And then I started thinking, wait a second, Bitcoin, BitGold, which they wanted to name it. So it was never implemented. It became Bitcoin. But the whole point was that was gold coming after the financial crisis, and then going back to Satoshi Nakamoto's death was the gold coming out of that crisis. So either which way, I wanted to share that with you. I just thought that was kind of a interesting connection from our last edition. You know?
That's amazing. Like you don't even like. I had no idea. And that's pretty much what it is. Because we uncovered that Nakamoto was not real. That he doesn't exist. After uncovering this, now that we have this figured out right here, which is amazing, leads us to an answer, some footing. Arthur Brittle is kind of like the same. This is the guy that I wanted to pin down because we got Nakamoto pinned, but I don't think anybody's been able to touch base with Arthur Brittle. Have you ever looked into Arthur Brittle?
I have looked into. I'll explain what I've come across. Arthur Brittle is the Ripple version of Satoshi Nakamoto's Bitcoin version. Although the difference between the two,
is that one word
Arthur Brittle is like synonymous with Ripple / XRP.
Mm-hmm.
Satoshi Nakamoto is synonymous with the mystery person behind the Bitcoin. But the difference, which in my research I found out, is Satoshi Nakamoto, no one has ever seen him. No one has ever talked to him. They can't pinpoint who he is. He's not around. He's the ghost, so to speak.
He's a creation. No, they didn't want to pin it to anyone because of maybe past histories or whatever the case may be, because we already established that.
Exactly. The pseudonymous person. But Arthur Britto allegedly still works and is connected at Ripple, and people have seen them. But the thing with him is he doesn't want the
media attention.
Exactly, the media attention, the fame. He likes his kind of private life and keeps it that way. So even though Arthur Britto is getting a lot of attention for everything that he's connected and brought to Ripple and established with XRP as being one of the people who founded that.
So I mean, based off of the secrecy, I would say whoever that guy is, which could be anybody, really. I mean, Joe Katz has like 36 different names. We just know him by Joe Katz for Lord knows what. So
absolutely.
Who's to say he's not Arthur Brittle? You know, like it's just a way of guarding whoever that person is. It could be Brad Garning, obviously. Like it could be the Bearable guy. Like it could be anybody. It could even be a woman. You know.
Could be a group of people.
So I kind of want to narrow that down. I don't know if you want to focus on that, or maybe I know you did a little bit of research before. So, what did you want to uncover? Did you uncover anything else other than the Satoshi Nakamoto? And
that was really one thing that kind of brought my attention because of our last show. To me, that was kind of like it kind of gave the last show an closure. You know what I mean?
It was really perfect because I think that's the answer that everybody was expecting, because you already got footage. You're running now. Now you're running and you have answers. You have years. You have dates. You have numbers. You have studies. You have too many coincidences happening. Honestly, it feels like they were like one big family back then, a group of them, and they decided, hey, let's do this. Kind of like the whole Facebook and the social media situation, and how they portray it as like a movie, like a fictional whatever, a group of friends got together and it was kind of like a social game.
Yeah.
Just to another level where I guess to an elite level, you could say. I just say elite, not based off conspiracy, but elite based off of opportunity at the time, and that they could have taken advantage of, and maybe they decided, okay, let's do this and see where it goes, and that's where you got all these cryptos. Move. That's where you got all these cryptos from, right?
Yeah. So while we're talking really quick, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I'm going to pull up something that I think could connect to our discussion that we're having right now, if you don't mind.
No, it's fine. So my basis is that we're going to move from that to, in my mind, which is what everybody wants to talk about right now, because it's like the top hit right now, is the Stellar. And we know that Ripple has something to do with it. So where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the CEO of Stellar and move from there and kind of like connect the dots? Do you want to go to Brad Garlinghouse and see if we find any connection to anything? This was interesting, actually. The poly, I had no idea about it. You knew about this?
Yeah, for like I think 2 years.
Guys,
I think it came out in 2017. Yeah, I thought this was kind of like I thought this was common knowledge here.
He kept it from me, guys.
I'm sorry.
My cookies.
Well, my thing is, I mean, Dave has even been on stage. For example, I probably should have pulled that video. That's a good one. Have you seen the video of David on stage?
Go ahead.
I believe he's at a college, a university or something, where someone asked him in the audience about PolySign, and he kind of like perks up and lights up, and he's like really excited about PolySign, and then he cuts it short right after and says, you know, I really can't discuss it right now, but he's like, that was his baby. He's very proud of it.
So let's go to, I think.
Should I try to pull up that video really quick?
Your business idea. Yeah, I think. Pull it up, and it's on YouTube. Well, you would put.
You seen it? You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen it. This is the first time I'm going to see it, obviously. But then we're going to look at the definition of poly, because we never really touched base with the definition of Ripple.
There it is right there.
Okay, go ahead and play it for us.
Can you see this one okay? Let's see where this pops up. It's on Panda Ripple's XRP.
I know that. I know what it is.
Let me pause it for 1 second. Let me know if you can hear this. Can you hear that?
No. I mean, I can play it. I can actually.
But it's a really short video, like 36 seconds. Okay. And it's a really cool video. It doesn't go much into it, but he gets really excited very fast, and then he like has to calm back down, you know?
What do you
I'm trying to see April 4, 2019. For some reason, I felt like this interview I thought it was a little bit older than that for some reason.
So what is the PolySign project? I've never even heard of it. So why don't you does it make me look dumb that I haven't heard of it?
Oh, no, not at all. I'm a little embarrassed because I kind of thought I thought it was just common knowledge.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Some of us, are missing some of this information. No, but honestly, I don't even know what the project's based on. Can you touch base on that? So at least for the people that don't know what PolySign, because I haven't even heard it come out of anybody's mouth other than you.
Yeah, sorry. I'm
don't say sorry.
Edge of about to sneeze here. I'm trying to get rid of it. I'm trying to get rid of this thing. Basically, it's like institutional level of. Let's see. Does it even say? Oh yeah, right on the front page. I'm trying to look through my notes. And it's right on the front page.
So poly.
Institutional grade custody for digital assets.
Why are they holding $1 billion of XRP? I don't understand.
All right, now. Just tossing out the obvious. Institutional grade, institution is wholesale.
Okay.
And that, to me, I connect right back. Obviously, they're doing Ripple, and their Ripple does what? XRP. David Schwartz obviously does Ripple. David Schwartz obviously does PolySign. So again, you have that interwoven little basket, that mesh right there holding everything in. So again, you mentioned XLM. XLM, obviously, each digital asset is intended to do beyond its one singular focus. It can do multiple. It can expand. It can scale.
This is becoming like to me, it sounds crazy, but it sounds like they all got together at Ripple, and they were like, okay, we got this. We can speed it up. Let's come up with a couple utilities and see where we go from there. Because David Schwartz, what do you think? Poly, and then what do you think? Stellar, and then cross-border payments, XRP, and that's where they kind of went their own ways, and they're all interconnected. Because if you think about it, XRP is just for the financial institutions. They don't want it to be in the hands of the people.
Exactly, that was the intent. Yeah,
correct. Chris Larson, which is what they say, that he got into an argument with the creator of Stellar. I always forget his name. What's the name of the
Jed McCaleb.
Yeah, Jed McCaleb. Him. So supposedly they bumped heads, and Jed McCaleb didn't see what they weren't seeing eye to eye. But what did he create? They call him a co-creator, but a co-creator of what? The marketing side,
which one? I'm sorry, Jed.
No, not Jed. Chris Larson, because Chris Larson is a co-creator as well. People don't know that, but he is. So now you have. I'm sorry, I'm talking really fast, but now you have David Schwartz, which is leading to Poly, which I had no idea this was going on. Arthur Brittle. What was Arthur Brittle's role in this entire thing? Was he managing all three utilities in the background, and that's why he doesn't want his identity shown, or what?
Now that's where it gets a little tricky too. I'm trying to breeze through my notes here while you're going through your conversation. Arthur Britto, which is it's a little interesting. If you go to Ripple and you know the history of any investor doing research, you find two of the main co-founders of XRP is known to be Jed, and here's where it gets really interesting, are Jed and like David Schwartz, right? And you have Chris Larson
did you know one thing
as one of the
Jed?
founders.
You want to know one thing about Jed, though, that a lot of people don't know? You remember Gitmount, or it was one of the biggest exchanges that got hacked for millions of dollars? He was
Gox.
Bro, look at this guy. That's why he's the bomb.
Hey, this is a team effort here.
It is, and I appreciate it big time.
That's what's making this so much fun.
In my life, all right? So anyway, he's a very brilliant guy. I mean, he sold that exchange before he got hacked and all that stuff.
Yes.
But I mean, it kind of looks all played out. When did this Poly Sign Inc. start?
I believe it was 2017, if I'm not mistaken.
So recent.
But I will continue before we get too far, really quick.
Yeah.
Going back to the interesting thing, when you think of the founder or co-founders of Ripple, who do you think? It's not a trick question. Just.
Well, from what I know, Arthur Brittle. Joe Katz, Arthur Brittle, and Chris Larson and Jed. I mean.
Okay, that's the standard thing, but a lot of people haven't heard of Arthur Britto connected to founding like the Ripple XRP thing.
Well, he's like a shadow in the background. So
exactly, that was it. I would agree with that perfectly. But now, when you go into PolySign, it lists Arthur Britto as the founder of Ripple XRP. It only states Arthur Britto, which is very interesting. Because basically the institutional grade custody that PolySign does is perfectly designed for XRP. And then my mind, the capacity and the ability, obviously it can hold anything, but my mind starts thinking back to that escrow. I know it's stated it's locked forever. It can only do $1 billion a month, and it's designed to do like for the next like 50 months or something like that.
Yeah, but
before all of the escrow's gone. But why would you design like PolySign, I'm sorry, you know?
Is that but what is, I haven't grasped what PolySign is. I mean, yeah, it says institutional grade custody for digital assets. I get that. What does that mean?
Well, that's where a lot of it, I mean, even in research, you can't find a lot of that out. It's kind of like, you can read what they tell you.
The biggest problem facing digital assets, the cryptography secret unlocks access to all funds. So it's kind of like a vault. Once the secret is stolen or lost, funds can never be recovered. So it's basically the 16-word phrase in a bigger setting, kind of like a vault. And then here, what does it explain? Money is gone in seconds with no recourse. Your funds could be anywhere, and you won't know who has them. With unlimited traction. What is that? What is it? Traction sizes?
Yeah, with unlimited traction sizes, hundreds of millions could be lost in an instant.
Okay.
And then might as well just keep going through this.
Go ahead.
PolySign's digital asset custody platform is a step function above other solutions. Leading blockchain architects, Arthur Britto and David Schwartz, designed PolySign's solution for securing digital assets.
But digital assets at a big scale, correct?
Massive.
Massive. So you're talking about whales, like, ugh.
Oh yeah, absolute whales for sure. Corporations. I mean, you're talking. It says institution. A lot of people. That's what I meant to finish. I'm sorry. I get a little excited. But the institution is the wholesale side.
Gotcha.
And a lot of people don't really know what that means. That's for example, governments, businesses.
Not everybody understands that concept. So, I mean, if you're going to talk
large amounts,
that's why I ask you these questions. I understand, but if I don't ask you the questions, we got viewers that don't understand. So
no, and I'm trying to do the same when you're doing something too. I'm trying to think of them, and I think that you're amazing with that. You're doing excellent with that.
Appreciate it.
And the other thing too is the retail side, which a lot of the viewers, whether you may or may not understand, retail is like you and me. Mm-hmm. It's going to be the like the person to person, the regular standard, maybe small business, maybe
small scale.
I don't like to put the business in that, but retail is more like us, the real people, the natural people, the business that we're going to do, mm-hmm. where the big business falls under the wholesale or the institutional. So you have the two sides. You have retail and you have wholesale.
So it's kind of
like, not only. Go ahead.
So it's kind of like just to put it into perspective, so they can imagine it. It's kind of like when you compare residential to commercial.
Exactly.
You're talking two different scales, right?
Perfect. Exactly. That was a perfect example. Residential and commercial. So
I don't want to keep interrupting. I mean, I just want to like follow through, and that, I mean, to me, that's the image that you portrayed in a level where people will get it. They will understand it. They see it. Okay. So let's continue with the PolySign was founded in 2017, right?
Yep. So it was 2017. That's what I was thinking, but
no, you were right.
So, and then here's, whoops, sorry about that. Whoa,
who's this guy? Who's this guy?
You got excited on that thing.
Who's this guy?
This is scrolling through the thing. I don't know if this is going to let me freeze it. Let me just check really quick. Let me see if it'll let me stop.
Jack McDonald. That guy seems like the owner of McDonald's, right?
I think, I'm not going to hold my breath, but it may have stopped it since I clicked on it. Let's just update them. It's not going to let me stop, but I think I can click back and forth at least to get through them. Antoinette Gorman. Let's go back to her if I can catch it. Sorry. Oh, where does she go? Antoinette Gorman, the Chief Compliance Officer. And it's not going to let me.
All right, let me see if I can pull it up here.
Oh, here's Meet Our Team. Let me see if I can click on that. Our mission to build the global standard for institutional digital asset custody. And again, like in that video, we didn't get to play. I had sound on my side, but you said you couldn't hear it on yours, right?
Yeah, I couldn't hear it on mine.
And that's why he gets so excited about this.
Where is it?
But he can't talk. He doesn't talk about it.
Is it on
It's on my computer screen right now.
Why don't you send me that link to my Twitter so I can pull it up, if you don't mind?
All right, let's see. Okay, give me 1 second. I will do it. If you want to, let me, go through that.
Go ahead while you do it. Okay. Our mission to build a global standard for institutions, digital assets, and custody. Founded in 2017, PolySign has luminaries in both the cryptocurrencies and financial services spaces, working to solve the biggest problem in crypto today: custody. Right?
Yep.
Boom. So let me see this picture. Let me see this picture real quick. I want to get an overview of what we're paving the way for digital assets to become more mainstream, and we've got the team to do it. So mainstream in the sense that they can show everybody that they can hold the control within these vaults of like these huge amounts of assets, and they can release them at any time, and they can trace them. Is that what it is? Well, let's read through the creators. Let's see what they are.
All right. Did we go through that part yet? You've read that part, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring that down a little bit. Hold on. I'll swipe up real quick. It'll be easier. Let's just go one at a time there. If you can breeze through those, I'll have this to you really quickly.
So Jack McDonald, CEO and a board member. Actually, yeah, it's because it looks smaller here, but it's okay. Prior to joining PolySign, Jack McDonald was CEO of the Conifer?
Yeah, Conifer.
Okay, the Conifer Financial Services for a decade, where he grew AUA from 5 billion to 125 billion, culminating in a successful exit in 2016 before Conifer Jack was the managing director and the head of the West Coast equities at UBS. Jack was named one of the 20 rising stars of hedge funds by Institutional Investor magazine and inducted into global custodians legends of the industry. Sorry, it looks so smaller, so it's harder to read.
Yeah, no, I understand. Sorry.
But no, it's fine. So now we're going to go to Arthur Brittle. Arthur Brittle co-founded Ripple and designed the XRP ledger. So wait a minute. Co-founder Ripple and designed the XRP ledger. Okay, so what we're going to have to do on this one is that once we're done with this little article here, we're going to have to go into the XRP ledger. Is that, yeah, we're going to have to do that because the definition of it and who really created it, because Arthur Brittle's like a secret. So we're going to see if we can find any other little crumbs in there, maybe a couple names. So that'll be cool.
All right, I finally got it to you. I apologize for taking so long.
No, you're good.
I don't want you to get confused. I did send you two. The first one is the full-length video. It's like 51 minutes. Yeah, the second one is the short. I think it's cropped, the one I was going to play here. But for some reason, I don't think you had sound. You said on your side.
Let me see if I can actually maybe switch this. No, I would have to. Okay, no. So I'm going to go ahead and put the volume up. I don't know if you want to play the video while I put the volume up. And I'll tell you when to play exactly.
Oh, okay. I see. We kind of do it a partner here.
Correct. All right. 1, 2, 3, play.
God, I really wish I could answer that, but I'm under a non-disclosure agreement with PolySign, and I don't, and because they're in stealth mode right now, I don't know what I'm allowed to tell you. I can tell you that they're in the custody business, and of course I can tell you that they're doing it like an amazing way that, you know, Arthur and I are behind this. We're the lead guys on the technology, and obviously like we think we're doing it right, but unfortunately, I don't know what. I really wish I could tell you because it's so freaking cool. I'm busting with wanting to tell people what we did, and they're like, "Oh no, we're still in stealth mode. It's still non-disclosure." So unfortunately, I cannot answer that question. But I feel really bad about it.
He gets so excited about it. That's so awesome. He's like a little kid.
Dude, we did good on that. It was lined up perfectly.
He's like a big smart kid. Which is,
yeah,
it's crazy. And,
that's amazing.
When he reads the ledger.
See, one thing I've always liked, I mean, we all find like different, like how we perceive people. I have always, me personally, I have always loved everything that David Schwartz says because he simplifies it. You know, it's when you read into it and you understand everything that's going on. It's kind of complex, but he simplifies it so that a kid can even understand. When he explains it in his conversations, I'm so hooked when he's on stage. Like I can't even it's like I don't want to blink. He's just so exciting to me to listen to, you know? Even BG on a different level. Like the two of them Ripple did amazing. They're so good at speaking.
I like him to the point where only when he really is in front of people and trying to communicate with the non-alien, because when he's alone and he's kind of like explaining or reading, his whole his whole persona just changes, because you just see like to me when I first saw him reading the ledger, the stable coin that
on his video YouTube.
Yes, it's
yes.
All I saw was like him processing everything, and it was like like you watch the video 13 times and you're just like, what, dude? Like you went through that in like 10 minutes and I didn't get not one thing you said, you know. And I mean, just his facial expression, like he's just like, it's just processing and he's reading the ledger, so he's like he's explaining a million miles an hour. But how many projects has this guy been in? I mean, you're talking about 1988. He takes out a patent and like, oh yeah, I'm smart, so let's patent, right?
Yeah,
then
absolutely.
He goes and he joins this team. Prior to that, he was working for the NSA, right? NSA. So NSA, then he comes out with patent. Then he goes into Ripple, right? They call him, they let's say he's the IO, right? $1 trillion.
If I'm not mistaken, really quick, right there.
Okay.
I believe he came in through OpenCoin, which became Ripple.
What? Excuse me. Hello. Good morning. Can you explain OpenCoin? What is that?
Okay. Do you know OpenCoin?
Obviously not.
Okay. OpenCoin was the first. I don't want to go into all the history because I don't want anyone at Ripple upset if I misrepresent something.
Well, no, we could actually look it up. Why don't you look it up? Pull it up. We already saw the David Schwartz video. We might as well pull it up, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead.
Boom.
OpenCoin was basically where it all began, which is OpenCoin is what people know today as Ripple.
We need to hear this, guy. We need to hear this.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Again, it's one of those moments of like Polysign, I guess.
Yes.
Let's go.
So
Let's see.
OpenCoin and Poly. So if you guys knew about this, please let me know. I might be outdated. I might have been in Mars or something, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the beginning. So we're gonna look up the information just to make sure that we're not wrong or we're not just talking to talk. And that's why I wanted him to back it up and look for information on it. OpenCoin. Ripple users can send.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Didn't.
Can send payments to Bitcoin addresses. Bitcoin.
And the reason that seems a little confusing, OpenCoin is today what people know as Ripple. Ripple is what people know today as XRP.
You just blew my
And
mind.
this is where it gets a little confusing. And even David Schwartz has always said he really enjoyed when XRP was called Ripples with an S.
Yeah, Ripple.
OpenCoin
I read that.
became Ripple, and that's where. See, a lot of people who've been into this for a while. I've been in, I followed them since they began. So that's where a lot of people who've been in it for a while, few years, get confused and they'll call Ripple XRP, and then the new people get all frustrated. Like, stop calling it XRP, Ripple. It's not Ripple, it's XRP.
Yeah.
But when people have been here a while, that's what it was called.
What about
So the reason they get tongue-tied and confused is because they're like, oh yeah, I forgot we changed the name. That's like some people still call it OpenCoin. They're like, I mean Ripple. But then they feel uncomfortable calling today's company Ripple because that was what the currency was called. And then that's when they had those little issues. I don't want to go into that.
No,
and
you should go into
today's
that.
lawsuit.
Doesn't matter. You should go
it makes me a little, I don't want anyone at Ripple upset if I misrepresent something because they're kind of in that lawsuit now from all of this craziness.
Well, no, that's
in my opinion, I call it craziness because, I mean, I don't know. I'll leave my opinion out of today's lawsuit.
No.
I mean,
right
that's
now,
what the judges
right
are for.
We want the news now. No, I'm kidding, guys.
But I mean, that's kind of how it all began. And, there was it a security, was it a currency? And then there were some issues, and then OpenCoin became Ripple, and Ripple had Ripples, and people were getting too confused, and then they changed Ripples to XRP. So then people were like, wait a second, Ripple? No, that's the currency. The company, that's OpenCoin. No, that's called Ripple. So it was such a little like a confusion box that they changed. Okay, it's not going to be the same anymore. Ripple's a company, like people call now Ripple Labs, to give it that additional, like Ripple Labs, that's the company. And then XRP is the currency.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but
no, interrupting time. Stop me.
We have I'm just gonna draw it out. So right now we got Ripple, right? Then we have XRP. Right? And then this is what's Ripple Labs, because Ripple Labs is not the same thing as Ripple.
Yeah, and that's where it's a little tricky too, because there are a couple of different things going there today.
Explain that to us detail by detail so that the people watching us are a little more informed about what the difference is between Ripple Labs, and XRP and how they all come together. So Ripple is initially what you said prior to that. It started as OpenCoin, which we're not going to dig in. We are going to dig in, but another day. So OpenCoin, and then
let me while we're talking about this, you're taking notes. Let me just see. This article may actually explain it perfectly. Let me just breeze through.
Go for it.
Because I grabbed the first one. I've never read this article, so. But again, the add back to David Schwartz. He said a few times that he really liked. I'm not gonna go back exact wording. I don't want to. Him frustrated with me either. But he said in a few interviews that he really liked when it was called Ripples because it has 1 million drops. So when you drop something into the water, it had 1 million ripples.
Correct.
And that was kind of he really liked that, the connection there. He'd always said a few times. But as investors, it's actually better that it had become XRP, because when you start going into currencies and value,
And values,
the
yes.
X means
Yes,
not
yes.
country related.
Correct.
You have XAU and you
read
have XAG, you have your gold and your silver. They're not country bound or nation bound. They're
yeah, you have to go, you have to follow rules. Just with currency, you have to follow rules. And if you want to be decentralized, you have to put a specific number, letter thing. Like, that's why they're all based off like BTC or XRP and things like that. You have to do that because they come from nowhere, supposedly.
Exactly. And this to me is kind of how you started the discussion tonight, which I know my mind's kind of like bouncing all over, but that's, again, we started with XLM, you started XRP, and we got into the discussion, but to me, it's all still kind of the same discussion. It's all part. You can't pull something apart and know the whole story. You push everything together and then you get the full picture. But again, going back to the gold, XAU, and you have your XAG for your, like your gold, your silver, you have XRP, you have XLM, and those are specific for that reasoning. Even if you go back to the beginning of Stellar, I'm not going into that issue for today. I think that's probably a whole other show. But going into this, it was for, reason. You have the X. Means not, as a bad example, and not country related, not country connected. It's not, XRP is not China, it's not USA. Something can be, but at the same time, stating that. Exactly. Country neutral is probably a good way to explain for someone to understand.
Yes.
That's probably a perfect example. Perfect word.
Actually, because I've done my research on that, because I've researched what is the meaning of XRP, the sign, which sign goes way back, and it's like